Growing up, I remember we were always told about plastic pollution. We were told about turtles eating plastic bags. We were told about fish eating plastic straws. We were even told about McDonald's replacing all their straws for paper ones. However, there is an even bigger problem that is not plastic pollution. You see, plastic is a very unstable material. Everything that is made out of plastic releases these tiny particles that are invisible to the eye called microplastics. Now, microplastics are found basically everywhere. They're found in the ocean, in the air, in the soil, in your blood, in your testicles, everywhere. Now, the problem is all plastics are basically made out of two chemicals, bisphenols, aka BPA, or phthalates, and the combination of these two makes all plastic, as I said. Now, these chemicals are actually very dangerous because once they shed their microplastics, those microplastics go into your body and then they attach themselves to your estrogen receptors inside every single cell. Now, estrogen is the female hormone and testosterone is the male hormone. Keep this in mind. So when you're gonna have high estrogen, because these chemicals work on a way that when they attach to your receptors, they're going to be releasing estrogen, the female hormone, as I said, for weeks, months, in some cases, even years. So basically, you're going to be developing more like a woman. So you're going to have man boobs, you're going to have a higher pitched voice, you're going to have fertility issues, you might even go infertile, and this is very serious. You see, testosterone is measured in the units of nanograms per deciliter. And 50 years ago, the average person had about 501 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in their body. This includes young people and old people. So the average is somewhere around 501, right? So if you take the same group of people, so young people and also old people in the year of 2026, guess what their testosterone levels are? They're about 350 nanograms per deciliter. This is a giant decline because testosterone levels have been shown to be dropping about 1% every single year. But as we all know, percentages add up over time. Therefore, it is more like 60-70% of which testosterone levels have dipped down ever since. But research actually shows that soon enough, testosterone levels may actually be starting to drop by around 5% or even 10% every single year. And this all can be attributed to microplastics and other endocrine disrupting chemicals, aka estrogenics. Now, endocrine disrupting chemicals are chemicals which disrupt your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is basically your hormonal system. So everything that has to do with hormones, including testosterone. And this is the same reason as why 1 in 5 men are actually infertile. You know, studies have shown that every 5th guy, so think of your, for example, 5 closest friends, right? One of those guys are statistically likely to be infertile. It can even be you who's watching this video. This is very dangerous because humanity might actually die out very soon if we don't do something about this. Do you know what this means? We're not going to be able to have kids and humanity is not going to be able to continue. We won't be able to pass on our genes, which is our sole purpose in this life, right? The purpose of life is to find a partner and then have kids, so your DNA doesn't die out, you don't get eradicated from the gene pool. But if we won't have any sperm because our testosterone levels are going to be very low, we're not going to be able to fulfill our natural God-given mission, right? Like every single animal on earth. And this is not just impacting humans because, for example, these microplastics are also in the water, in the air, as I said, in the soil. So they're impacting other animals as well, seafood. All of seafood, that means all fish, all clams, all oysters have also been found to have microplastics inside of them too. So they might actually die out very soon. They actually did a study, you might have heard about this one, where they put frogs into water which had atrazine in it, which is also a estrogenic compound which they basically spray crops with. And what they found is these frogs over a period of time started mutating and the male frogs turned into females. So the guy frogs, the men, turned into females. They were actually starting to lay eggs. That is crazy because their testosterone levels dipped insanely. And then guess what? Some of them were actually able to have kids, right? But then their kids had a lower percentage of being fertile, and then their kids even more. So it is absolutely generational because if you have very low testosterone, maybe your kids will not be able to have kids if you even are going to be able to have kids yourself. And that is why you need to look out for microplastics and other estrogenic chemicals in your day-to-day life. Now, what are some of the biggest sources that we can cut out to improve our life? So first things first, go to your kitchen. This is where most of the contamination of microplastics happens. So look at your cutting board. If it looks like this, throw it out immediately. It's made out of plastic, and when you're cutting something on it, all of that is going into your food. Second, look at tea bags. Tea bags are actually made out of 50% plastic, 50% paper, and the pyramid ones are actually made out of 100% plastic. So throw those out immediately, and when you want to drink tea, just grab the tea bag, slice it open, and put it into a metal strainer and drink the tea that way. It is gonna save you of billions of microplastics. Then the third best thing you can do is stop drinking water from plastic bottles. You see, as I said, plastic is a very unstable material, right? It sheds microplastic into whatever is in that bottle. And when you have water, which is liquid obviously, it's gonna have a lot more microplastics in it than if you had food in a plastic container. Because food is stationary, meaning it doesn't move around, right? So only a little part of it is gonna have some plastic on it. But water is a liquid again, so it's gonna adapt the shape of whatever container it is in. Therefore, it's gonna have, the whole thing is gonna have microplastics inside of it. Therefore, I just recommend you drink out of glass bottles, but look out, because some of those glass bottles are gonna have metal caps, and you're gonna think that you're completely estrogenic safe, right? You're safe from estrogenics. That is sometimes not the case, because the paint that they use on these bottle caps is actually very estrogenic too. So I recommend you just buy what is called a reverse osmosis filtration system with active charcoal, and you use that to filter out your tap water, and then just drink the filtered out tap water. Because what some women take is actually called birth control. Now, birth control is what women take to not get pregnant, and it works by increasing their estrogen through the roof, so all the sperm in their body, from the guy who inseminated them, dies out, right? But when these women go to the toilet and they pee out all of this estrogen, it is gonna end up in your drinking water. But filtration facilities are not good enough to filter out all these hormones, because hormones are way smaller than, for example, bacteria, dirt, viruses, so they cannot filter out hormones, which are way smaller. So the hormones end up in your drinking water, and the worst country for this on the planet is USA, because women take the most birth control there, and the water, the tap water, is the most estrogenic. So if you live in the USA, I recommend you especially buy a reverse osmosis filtration system. You can buy one of these for a couple $100 and it will save your life, and it actually may be the sole reason why you will be able to have kids in the future. And I truly believe that endocrine disrupting chemicals and estrogenics are gonna be the end of humanity. It's not gonna be AI robots, it's not gonna be fucking Terminators or nuclear war, and not gonna be World War III, hopefully. It is gonna be this. This is gonna wipe out all of humanity if we don't do anything about it. This is why I need you. Please share this video, or at least talk to your friends about it, because humanity might very soon die out if we don't do anything about this problem. So please share this video, like it so more people see it, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and you will actually be able to have kids, and comment for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Also watch this video, please. Bye bye.